Yo, how's it going, everyone? This is Causation Character speaking, and welcome to the next 5-minute review, more or less, of a game called Death's Gambit. Published by Adult Swim Games, developed by White Rabbit. Release date on the Xbox Game Pass, which is where I played it, on February 12, 2020. Or also released on August 14th, 2018. I'm assuming that was released for PlayStation 4. But yeah. This game, for its description, is the promise of immortality lies at the heart of Cyrodion as Death's right hand challenge the undying guardians of the realm and endure the eternal struggle to purge their souls. But what reward awaits a faithful servant of death? Death's Gambit is a hardcore 2D action platformer with rich RPG elements. Master the precise combat, utilize a wide variety of weapons and abilities to confront the horrors that lurk deep within the Cyrodion. Explore a mysterious and unforgiving world to uncover the true price of immortality. Embrace the challenge of being an agent of death. So for a 5-minute review of this game, not really much to say. I enjoyed the music. The graphics are really good, actually, as well as the pixel graphics that you see throughout the game. It's, I guess you can say, mixed between normal graphics and pixel graphics. Just because of how detailed the environment is, in a sense. The game's not really all that difficult. It does kind of work like a Souls-like game in a sense, where if you die, you don't actually lose the money or souls that you that you gained from fighting other enemies. You'll actually only end up losing basically your health potions, or in this case, your phoenix feathers. So let's say if you had 5 phoenix feathers and you end up dying, you'll actually go down to 4. And if you end up dying again without picking up that last phoenix feather, then you'll go down to 3, and then 2, and then 1. I actually don't know how low you can go when it comes to phoenix feathers in general, but all of the deaths that happen throughout the game, you will always drop a phoenix feather. The game will always tell you that you dropped a phoenix feather, and all you have to do is go back and pick them up. They will be in the location where you ended up dying, or you can just, when you go to a saving spot, you can actually pay to get those feathers back. That way you don't have to go back to the locations where you were killed before. You can just pay and get them back. I don't know if you get an increase every single time, or if I'm assuming it'll cost more and more depending on how many feathers you have dropped, but you can do that. And there is a lot to explore in the game. No mini-map or map in general, so that is kind of disappointing for me. It makes sense considering that it is a 2D Souls-like game. But it's not all that hard to get lost. There are a lot of different ways that you can go, but for me, it wasn't that bad, considering the fact that I'm not really all that great when it comes to remembering things in general. So yeah, I mean, that was always nice. The game is rather short. It took me about 8 hours to complete. I didn't do 100%, and I actually don't know what 100% of the game is. So for instance, there's a lot of chests that you can find, books that you can get. The books, when it comes to picking them up, it gives you a little bit storyline of what the boss is about. And not only that, something that I actually enjoyed is if you find up to 2 books, you can get 5% of bonus damage onto said boss. Anytime you find the book, so you can actually get up to 10% for every single boss, where you would deal 10% more damage than you would normally. You don't obviously need to find those books, but I mean, 5 or 10% more damage onto the boss is actually pretty awesome. Was not expecting that, but it was pretty cool. No bestiary, so you can't really tell, like, there's no lore behind the enemies or anything like that. But just in general, a lot to explore. It's actually pretty fun. Again, not 100%, so I never actually found out how to pick up certain chests or books, but overall, rather fun. The story, I did give you a mini description of it, but I don't actually tend to read the little descriptions before I play the game. Never actually thought about doing it. So, like, the story that I got was, I need to find my mom. Where did she go? No idea. You get flashbacks of you and your sister. Where did she go? No idea. But the idea is you're trying to find your mom in order to find peace, I guess. And yeah, I'm not really sure what the story was about. Another thing that I very much dislike, just in general, is the fact that you need to use, if you're using a controller, should I say, is you need to use the joystick in order to move your character. The reason why I hate it is because it's a 2D platformer. Like, you can only go left and right, up and down. Like, you can't really do much more after that. So, having to force use the joystick's a problem. And the reason why they do that is because you can switch what items you are holding with the D-pad, left and right. So, it makes sense, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that. And the other noticeable thing is that when you start moving your character, you actually, to me, it felt like you were moving a lot faster than expected for some reason. For some reason, it just felt like you were moving 2 times the speed than the game was, so that was a little bit odd. I'm not really sure why that was the case, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a negative, especially when it comes to the joystick as well, but just in general, having to move with the joystick and then having your character move a little bit faster than you would want, just, it felt weird. Yeah, that's about it. The game is worth $19.99, so a little bit expensive. I would say an indie game would be a good price between $10 and $15. So $19.99 is quite a lot, considering the fact that it only took about 8 hours to complete. There is New Game Plus, and then the New Game Plus, I think it goes up to 10, so I'm assuming the more you play the game, the more you beat it, the more difficult it gets after each playthrough. And you can start with the items that you had left before, so that's always a cool thing. So I never really tried New Game Plus, but there is obviously replayability when it comes to trying to test your skill on harder enemies. But the bosses aren't really all that bad. You'll get through them rather quickly, or you'll understand them rather quickly, and then it's just a matter of getting everything right. So there's also that. But other than that, the game's not bad. It's a little bit too expensive, for me at least. The story kind of made no sense to me. Joystick's a problem, but I mean, overall, there's a lot more good than there is bad. I would definitely give this game a try, especially if you ever find it for a discount or during a Humble Bundle sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a try. There aren't too many weapon choices that you can get, or equipment choices, but I mean, I can only continue going on, and there's really no point. It's a fun game, definitely worth a try. A little bit expensive, but yeah, I mean, there's always discounts, so considering that it's been out since 2018, like, you'll find one eventually. So with that, I'm just gonna stop there, because there isn't really much to talk about when it comes to the game in general. It's fun, but it's not all that. Yeah, hopefully this review helped you in some way. I'm sure you'll let me know down in the comments below. But with that, I hope to see you on the next one, and take care.